Did you get any notification regarding recording?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, so hopefully that works. All right, guys, so let's just continue here with and today I want to like I said before, this class is starting to change and adapt to include other things that are not so much only rendering, but how rendering is used in different media types. For example, let's say movies and different effects, from things that are very basic to not things being always realistic, or at least looking realistic, but with more of the effect or because many times when we do renderings, just like an artist, we bring our own little touch to the renderings, like a very personal touch to how we do things. It could be the light, the materials. Imagine when you sketch, you have a certain pencil, or if you do paintings, your brush stroke gives it a very personal touch. So a lot of these effects, kind of enhance your idea of something, right? For example, if you look at the Church of Light by Tadao Ando, and you guys know this project, right? You guys
Yeah.
know this one here, right? This is the Church of Light by Tadao Ando. What's unique about this church here? I mean, the design is fairly simple. But what's unique about this? Like, look at this shot over here, right? This is a book by Phaidon Publishers. But what makes this Church of Light so unique?
The cross,
The
that's
cross,
like
yes.
it brings in the light.
Exactly. So it creates a nice contrast between dark and light. And the cross is simply just, it's concrete, with a piece of glass here, right? But the church is facing the sun in a certain way. So say certain times of the day, the light kind of just pours in and creates a very dramatic effect of light. This light, it's a nice detail to try to recreate, because in a way for this church, that's the design, right? It's not so much that it's concrete, because everything Tadao Ando does is concrete. It's so much that this little cross here that has been left open creates a light ray, right? And that's the whole idea of the church. So for us as a rendering, if we were showing this to a client, you want to maybe try to enhance that effect so the client understands that, yes, this is a very simple design, but this church and the light that appears here is what makes this design so powerful. At the same time, this light effect also creates other elements. Have you guys ever been to a large, say, cathedral church, and have the light kind of pouring through the stained glass? How does it look?
It adds color into the
Okay,
church.
it color, but also it gives the light some volume. So volume meaning something like this, right? Where's my thing I had here? Like this, right? Where you can actually see the light, right, pouring to uh the glass here. And again, you can only see it because there's probably dust or particles in the air. So the light actually is visible here, and it only happens in very dark spaces, right? So mostly, if you go to a large cathedral, you might see, light rays pouring out through here. So again, that could be a nice effect that you can create to enhance something in your design that you might want to have. So I want to try to cover today those effects, and plus one more, which is the one that we're doing last week, and which was the Blade Runner effect, which is this one here. Let's see if I can put it here, like this, right? So we're gonna combine all these things into one shot, and try to create these effects. So we're gonna make something like this, right? That creates water, it creates light portals. We'll create water ripples more as an effect, not so much having to be realistic, because realistic water ripples are very time consuming, right? So, and many times, we want to just fake it so it looks good in the scene, right? So we're gonna find some techniques that we can actually create water ripples without having to go through all the process and the time to make them look as real. At the same time, we'll put here maybe some cavities to touch base on the Church of Light, maybe like a cross, and see how the light can enter here, and then play with some settings to create volumetric light, to see how those things work, to give our renderings a little bit of touch of something more unique, like a little design touch. So I think that'll be our intention for today's class. And then on the next class, I think we'll start working on our main project, which is the house by Tadao Ando. And we'll start to put there all our techniques that we've been doing from the beginning of the semester into that house and work and try to make it as realistic as possible, dealing with lighting, materials, reflections, water. And also today, if we have time, we're going to start looking at skies, right? Because there are other ways that we can add skies. And at the same time, start looking at some of the options that 3D Max has for elements. For example, chairs, trees, because they have a very good library that is being updated that we can use in here. So we'll try to practice those things today. And then afterwards, we'll see where that takes us in the class. Regarding our last lecture, are there any questions regarding those topics? That was dealing with the water elements. Again, if there's no question, just let me know because again, I can't see your faces. So just let me know if you guys are good.
I think we're good.
Yeah? Okay. All right. So in that case, let's move on to this. So again, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna build our little, let's say, case study here, like this thing over here. Just give me 1 second to set up something. So I'm just getting used to having used Zoom in a while. All right, so this is actually, yeah, what I like about Zoom is I can actually sketch while I record here, which is be a nice detail. So if we look at this space here, so this space is pretty much is going to be a let's make it a rectangle like this. This is looking at a plan view. And we have some steps here. So these steps are just simple rectangles, right? So let's see if we can get a rectangle tool here. We'll make a bunch of steps like this. We'll copy them, same steps. And again, they're all the same size. And eventually these are going to go to a platform like this that is surrounded by water, right? Like this. Then afterwards, these are light portals on top. So above here, there'll be some type of openings. Let's say maybe like this. And again, this purple line is above you. And that's where light is going to come in into the space. Like this will be opening above, right? And everything else that is here, the other parts that are, let's see here, this will be just surrounded by water. So it's a very simple structure to build, right? This will be walls, 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 and later we can play with subtraction to add the effect of the cross or those details to our space. So let's build this this little object here. Okay, let's see. How do I erase? Okay, that should be good. Okay, the good thing you guys afterwards can just pause the video and you can look at those details. All right, so I'm gonna use my so I have 3 screens that I work with. So I'm gonna open one screen where I have this image, so I can just look at it and try to build it. Again, right now I'm just still adding to our next test scene. Eventually, we're gonna make a brand new 3D Max file, and that'll be for the Tadao Ando house. For now, we're still testing out different things here. So I'm just gonna move here to the right and start to build our scene. And let's just start with the base, right? So I'm gonna just make a box here. And then we'll define, some, different sizes here. So let's see how big we're going to make it. So we're going to make it, let's make it 40 feet by 35 feet. Like that. This way, yes, no, let's make the length, sorry. 35 feet, and the width, let's do 45 feet. Like that. And of course, let's give the base like a 1, see, yeah, 1 foot for now. Like that. That'll be our starting base. Next thing, let's build those steps. Make it easy, right? So let's go here. Again, how big are we gonna make those steps? Let's make it 7 feet. Maybe not. Let's make it yeah, 7 feet by 1 foot. By also let's make it 2 feet. And later later we can adjust the height depending on the water. And this, okay, let's say that we want to be precise. Just going back on a few topics here. I want to move this thing and center it to this space to be exactly. So let's just turn on your snaps, right? Right click it. I'm gonna click here on midpoint, select it, and I can just go back here to move. And I can go here. Excuse me. All right, select this thing. Come on. Why are you not selecting it? Let's see. Oh yes, I have here right now camera set. It's gonna be set to all. All right, so we're gonna pick here, pick the center, and just snap it there. I can now turn off my snaps. And if you want, you guys can build through this, or actually that would be hard because you need 2 screens. So I think best is just follow the video afterwards. I'll post it, and you guys can just go through it easily. So I'm gonna move this here. And for now, just move it higher. It doesn't really matter. We'll fix it later. And let's just copy this one like this. Select it, hold down the Shift key, and I'm just gonna copy this. For now, I'm not sure how many I need, so let's make I don't know, let's make 10. We can always erase later. And make it as an instance. Like that, right? If I did too many, I can always take them out later. Next, I want to do a central platform. So let's just make a box here. Make sure it should be a box. So let's make it let's try 20 by 20. And again, you can make it 2 feet height like this. And this would be like before. We're just gonna snaps, select it. I'm just gonna snap it to the center of that one. And of course, now turn off my snaps, and I move this box a little bit forward like that. So we're starting to get the idea of this, right? The steps and the central box that's there. If you guys get lost, just let me know, and I'll go back and slow down. All right, so I'm gonna take this now and just select these elements here. And I probably don't need too many steps. So I'm gonna bring it back here because I want to have at least equal amount of water here, here, and here. So that looks pretty good for now. Maybe there, and that's it. Yes, it's close enough. All right. So what else do we need now? We need to make some walls that are here, right? So I could make a wall here. I could make a wall here. I could make 4 different walls. What's a quick way to make 4 walls very fast? What could I do? Any idea?
Maybe draw a line and then just extract the line.
Exactly. Yes, actually that works good. Yes. I'm gonna do a line, right? Turn on my snaps. Make sure I have endpoint, and just draw, let's say, a rectangle, right? So I'm gonna pick, actually no, I don't need grid points. I don't need midpoint, just endpoint. Yes, I'm gonna click endpoint. Yes, just make a line, right? Like that. There. And close it, yes. Now that you have the line made, go here to properties. On the rendering, the first tab here, go to enable in render, enable in viewport, right? Let's go on to allow you to use this toolbar. And you want a rectangular line, so Right now, if you look closely, it's radial, but we can change here to rectangle, right? And now we can just kind of go here. We can do, the height. Again, this height, because it will extrude it equally upward and downwards. So the main thing here is just give it a height that you need. So let's say, how tall are we going to make this? The heights are really important. So let's make it just now 30 feet like that. That's too much. Let's make it 20 feet. All right, so let's do 20 feet like that. And then afterwards, if you look close here, we can adjust the width, right? So like this. So let's make it 6 inches like that. And if you look at the bottom here, this line, actually, let's look at the top here. Here. You see how the line, this green line is my base here, the box, right? This, when you extrude this, it goes equally to the outside and to the inside. So actually the box is now a little bit to the outside, which is not a big deal. We can always fix it afterwards. So let's say we have this box now, right? Now I can just, if I want to modify, for example, I can select it, right click it, and convert to editable mesh, right? And if I want to be very precise, I can now click my vertex and I can select those points like this, right? These points that I can click here and I can, do whatever I want here. And what I could do here is, let's say, actually, before I do that, I'm going to move this box upward. And I'm going to start with one corner here. Just, go to your snaps, pick this box, pick a corner, and just make sure it fits exactly there, right? This one here now doesn't align, but that's easy, right? Select the box, go to the vertex, select all the points on this side, and then simply, oh my God, my phone doesn't want to turn off. And then afterwards, simply just take this corner and snap it here, right? We go back to the other side, and that's it. Everything's now perfect, I think. Now we have to focus on this corner here. So select the ones on this side, and like before, just drag it out. There, and now we have our nice box. Everything fits perfectly within the shape. So we're getting a little closer now to this, right? We have all the walls. What we need now is this over here, this kind of platform here with some cavity. So what I'm going to do here is make a very thick surface and then just subtract 2 of these rectangles from the space. And the best way is to do it in the top view so we can see kind of the shapes that we're making. Excuse me. All right, so the first thing I'll do here is actually, let's make a box. Actually, no, let me go here first. And we'll pick here, just make a box inside here that fits exactly there. And this box, I'm not sure. So right now, again, we're building here, not precisely. We're building almost like we're sketching. We're doing things by, because I'm not here right now. I'm not going to build this building, right? I'm just going to show the client my idea. So it's okay to be rough with those numbers. It's okay that you're not exact. You cannot just guessing and going for the effect. So for now, just make it like this. We can always explode it and change some sizes. So let's make it like this for now. That'll be a general box. And then then I'm going to go to the top view. And I need to make 2 more boxes to make my cavities so I can subtract them. So we're going to enter through here. So maybe somewhere along here, make a box that maybe a little bit intersects this corner. Like that. Looks pretty good. I'm going to now give it a height. I'm going to copy this box here. So it's about the same size, both sides. And copy it. We go here. Box is there. Let's do F3. So I'm going to select these 2 boxes. Bring them up. And now they're both, let me select these 3 like this. Isolate, and they're all, they're intersecting, right? So now we can select the main box, go down to compound objects, pro boolean, subtract, start picking, and pick those 2 elements there. And in case, I made this too tall, it's simple, right? Select it, right click it, convert to editable mesh. I'll pick the polygon and I can always make it taller or smaller depending on the height I need for my building, right? All right, so let's do an isolate. And now the next thing here is, I don't know how tall this is right here. It's kind of hard to guess. Maybe guess, I don't know, 15 feet maybe. But ideally, I'm trying to kind of match this shot. So the next thing is for me to actually set up a camera before I do anything else. Otherwise, it'll be hard to figure out those details. So let's just put a new camera here. All right, so my camera is gonna be centered on the stairs, not like this, pointing this way. Let's have the lens to be 24 millimeters, like that. Then let's pick the camera, front and back. Let me do change here to cameras. And let's see here, where are we? Here. And I'm gonna change here. Which camera is that? Let's give the camera a name. We're gonna call this Blade Runner. There it is. All right. Okay, something like this. We need to go back more a bit here to be exactly. Okay, so definitely we're off right here, right? This shot is completely off. And what else is off also? The proportion, right, of the shot.
The
This
height
is the
and
height,
the
yeah,
width.
so exactly. So I mean, what we could do here is we can try to match. If you look, so this is simply an image that I found online, but if you look down here, right, the image is 1280 by 720, right? So I could make, I could customize it. So let's go here to render setup. If I want to be precise, let's go here to custom, right? I'm gonna make my width be 1280, my height be 720, right? And then if you want, you can lock it, right? So that now should be roughly the same proportion as this one. So it gives me a better idea of the view. All right, and the next thing here is, of course, this has to feel more squashed. Right now it's too tall. So, and I do see more steps here. So maybe, yeah, I gotta move some things back. But for now, we'll get to it in 1 second. All right, so let's first of all now just play with this top element and move it down to create the effect. And I'm trying to do it kind of by eye, whatever I see here. Okay, that's not too bad. You can see the effect here of the portals there. We're missing out one more thing. What is that? What's missing?
The width of the space.
The width, the space. Okay. How about the water, right? The water is also another
Oh, yeah.
plane that defines the space. So let's again, the water is fairly simple. We're just gonna make a plane. So let's make a simple plane up here on the top view. Make a standard plane. And again, you have to be too precise, just somewhere within the walls here. Make it draw plane there. And now let's find it. So I'm gonna make the water red so it really stands out. We can define it. Right. And the main thing here, if you look at this, the water is maybe about an inch, maybe 2 inches below the platforms. So let's get something in that sense. Okay, something like that maybe. Starting to get, the point of view is definitely much lower here than here. You can tell because you don't see, this is much flatter than over here. So that means my camera, now I have to play with my camera angle. And I'm just trying to look at my shot here. All right, that's not too bad. Again, it won't be exactly, but close enough. And this thing looks like it has to go down a bit more. All right, so I think for now, that's pretty close. I'm pretty happy with that. Let me see if I can match this size to about this one here. Yeah, this is a little bit wider than here. Not really a big deal. I think it's fine. Overall, we got everything. We have the platform, the steps, the water, the walls, the roof element, and we have the two cavities here that we can use it for. So I think that's pretty good for now. If you guys want to spend more time, I will put this image in the actually I'll put it in Brightspace, right? So you guys can download it and try to match it. But again, we might be off a little bit each person, so not really a big deal. All right. My son forgot his phone and it keeps ringing every second. All right, I'm just gonna kind of fix it here. This part here, I'll go to the properties and go down. Let me give it like a little parapet here, and that's it, right? So we're going to use that. All right. One thing also that we're gonna try new here now is that once we get to in this class, we're gonna learn things that are so. For example, Vray also comes with a very nice library of materials, right? These are highly realistic materials with nice reflections. They're not really good to modify. They're good to use. They do take a little bit more time because they're more precise, but it's good to know also how to make your own materials. So we already covered in class how to make our own materials, bumps, reflections, glossiness, and those things. And we'll use that once we work on the house by Tadawando. But for this project, we're just gonna pick materials that come with V-Ray. So now the next part here is I want to explore the V-Ray library of elements. These include materials, trees, furniture, some very good stuff that's here, right? So any questions or are you guys okay? Are you guys there?
No questions.
No questions? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see here. If you guys look up here, right? When you install, and in my computer, actually, I'm testing now because they released a new V-Ray. It's V-Ray 7. It was released on October 31st. So you guys might want to try. So simply just go to simply just uninstall your V-Ray, or simply just download the new one and replace it if you want to. It has a few new updates, for quality, but not really a big change. But it could be good to update it. All right. So, and if you look here under my render setup, it says V-Ray 7. That's the latest release of the software. All right. So when you install V-Ray, you should get this tab over here, right? This is the V-Ray tab. So if you look at these four little spheres, I'm going to click here. It's called Chaos Cosmos, right? This is V-Ray's library of materials and assets. There's an update. Take only a few seconds. Okay, hopefully. Update it. All right, so hopefully we can do stuff for these things. Yeah, so if you look at these assets, if you look here, okay. Sites. Success. Okay, everything's done. Perfect. Okay. Oh my God. I have to just log into my VRAY account, which is the same account you guys have. Okay, that's logged in. Good. All right, if you look at here, right, so we have a collection right here. If I click and we have VRAY materials. We have healthcare, stuff, which is again, this is used a lot by different firms for large scale projects. So healthcare is one of those big ones. So we have that, people, nurses, doctors, patients that we can just, drag and drop and insert here. These are all, highly realistic models. Not that we're gonna use them too much in our case, Scandinavian style. This is gonna, Scandinavian style furniture, which is quite nice. We can test it out later. We can test this out later when we do the Tadao Ando house. We have Asian assets, which is a few Japanese dress people, some nice trees. These are all pretty good looking trees. So we have a good library here, and we have also a nice selection of cars that we tested out later, motorcycles, people, and different stuff here that will go through all these things here. Let's see, assets here. We have materials. And first of all, if you look at these things, none of these materials are currently installed on the computer. As you use them, you have to download them. So if I want to use this wood floor, I have to click here and download it. Why? Because these are very heavy materials. If you were to download all, which you could, that could take up to 40 or 50 gigabytes of space. So you could, either slow down your computer. So I just download as I need it. If I want to use this one, I do it. I don't go and download all unless I have a massive computer with, tons of terabytes of space.
Professor, I have a question.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
So, what if like I put a tree in my model from 3D Max and import it to Rhino? Could I do that or no?
You could, yeah, because once the model is in 3D Max, it's a polygon. So you could just export it to I haven't tried, but yeah, you should be able to because it's a 3D model, yes. You can just file export as XPS, it's as FBX, and it should be fine, yeah.
Even with the tree in the model, right?
I haven't tried with the trees yet, but again, these are V-Ray libraries, so this is fairly new, so you might have to experiment with that. Yeah.
Okay.
In Rhino, you get the same library in Rhino as well.
You should get it, yes, because it's part of the
Yeah.
V-Ray package.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's probably called also Cosmos. It should be called Cosmos in Rhino,
Yeah,
yes.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's just Fury, yeah.
And the same thing if you go to Revit, or SketchUp, that they have the same V-Ray library. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
No problem. So, let's say I want to put here on these walls, right? What do we have here? It looks like some type of stone, maybe marble, concrete. But let's see here. I'm not gonna put down all. And you see, it's a pretty nice looking library. It's metallic elements, things that have everything typically has different gradients of glossiness, from semi-gloss to more gloss to very glossy to matte finish. So you can always choose whatever you want to apply, right? Chrome elements here, marble, metallic elements, copper, which is hard to create. Different types of glass are also here. Frosted glass, glass with patterns. So these are all nice details. Lots of wood floor, so we can use things like fabrics. And these are, again, they do take a little bit more time to render because of the quality, but they do make a big difference on the final stage. And the other thing is to modify them is quite tricky. So you really don't want to modify these materials. There are so many sublayers of folders that it becomes very confusing to try to modify these things. All right, so I'm just going down here and looking for something in stone, right? So we have here a bunch of different stones. Like this one looks pretty good. So I'm going to just let's see this one, download it. Actually, no, it's not stone. That's more like let's see here. I want to. No, not that one. That looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks like a nice stone. So I'm gonna download it, right? All right, so now when this green is downloaded, the next thing is how to use it. So I'm going to open up my material library, which is here. So I'm gonna pick just one of these areas. Doesn't matter which one you pick. Let's go back up here. Let's start fresh. Let's say this one here, the wood floor, right? I'm gonna click here, import. So it's gonna load it over here, right? There it is. Now, once it's there, I can simply just, drag it here, like we do always, right? And we go through the, the typical steps. It's right now is the one over here and looking brown. Select it, right? We go to UVW map, box, map scalar, which should be here. And that's pretty good, yes. I think we'll use that material for that. Here also is there, just, the angle doesn't really show it well. And of course, also the top one appears to be the same material. I mean, right now for the class, I'll make it the same. If you guys want, you can change it. And I'm gonna make everything the same material. So I'm gonna take this one here. And again, drop it here. And like we did before in class, a very simple way to copy the properties is to select the previous one. I'm going to pick this one here and just drag first the UVW map. Select the old one again and drag the map scalar. That'll copy the properties. Same thing here. I'm going to copy this to the base. There it is. Click the previous one, drag that UV map to it. Click the previous one, drag the map scalar. That'll copy those results. For the steps, I think because there are so many steps, I'm going to first group them. And I don't need these 4, but I'm going to take these right here, select all of them, and just group the steps. So I can simply just pick one of them. Let's take, again, this one. Do you see how that doesn't work? So when you have grouped, even though it's grouped together, right? If you drag it, it's going to apply to one of them only. So for group, simply select the grouping, then apply the material. That's going to apply to everything. And then, then we should be able to, again, UV map and map scalar. All right, so there's my my little space, right? What else do we need now? We have the water. So since we have water here, let's try one of the waters that are here. And we could do a search here for water. We have water clear, water, glass window, and water. Not sure how this looks. Let's try this one here. So let's try to, we'll pick it, this one here. Again, the green button is going to load it here. So there's the water. Doesn't look to be much motion. Let's see what else we have here. Ocean. No. If you click here on all the assets, and you click here the 3 little bars, we can choose here by category, right? And we can choose 3D models, right? We'll look at it later, materials and other things. But for now, let's look at the library here. So we have bricks, car paint, ceramics, concrete, glass, ground coverage. I forget in which section water lies. It might be on the ground cover. No, okay. Bricks, it could be under glass.
Can it be on liquid?
Yes, you saw a liquid? I missed that one.
Yeah.
Yep, let's see here. Yep, there we go. Liquids. Okay. We have white wine, wine rose. What is that? Okay, there we go. Waves looks pretty good. That could work. And what else? Waves in black. Like here for this shot, looks like the waves are kind of black, right? But we can try a couple of them. Let's try first this one here, waves. Let's I'm gonna put it here. And next door to it here, I'm gonna load also this one needs to be downloaded. and then add it. Okay, so we have those two now. That's one. That's some nice waves, dark blue water, and that's more like a black looking. All right, so I think that gives us a good amount of materials. So let's start here with let's try this one here. Okay, and actually, we're still missing the base, which is still green. Let's make this one like that. Okay. This one is do UV map, box, and map scalar. Okay, so I think we got everything ready, but we're still missing lights, right? So do you think this is a sunlight? What do you guys think this is? Or no?
Is it just
Maybe
Go ahead, Ian.
go ahead.
Come on, who was talking first? Doesn't matter, but come on, guys.
is
There's
it
two. Yes,
is
go ahead.
is it just like a lamp?
It's kind of, yes, like a lamp, yes. I mean, it's not really a sun, right? Because the sun will create like sharp shadows, right? You really don't see any sharp shadows here. So it's more like two artificial lights, right, that are pouring down here. So yes, it's more. So let's try something like that, because yeah, if I render right now, for example, I should be able to get. I'm not sure where. Let's see, where's my sun right now here? My sun is over here. Let's move my sun here. Let's say I put my sun over here, somewhere there, pointing down. It says pointing straight down, kind of like that. Let's see what this looks like. We're not getting much light, right? And it looks like I have the caustics effect turned on, so that will slow down my computer. Right now, again, I don't care about that effect, so let's just go quickly here to the render setup under, I think it was GI, caustics, and turn this off, right? What else do we have here? Yes. So you see that sun doesn't really bring too much light here. This is more like a glowing light. So let's try to add, and of course, even behind the camera, there might be other lights that are that we're right now we're not seeing. So at this point, we are playing artists and we're trying to invent something here, right? So I'm going to turn off the sun. Let's try different lights. So just go to the sun, the first tap, click it. It's gonna now look black. So now it's not being used. Let me just move it to the side. And let's go to our lights. What do we have here? So we have let's go V-Ray, right? And we have V-Ray light. So we'll try a couple ones, but let's try first a V-Ray light. And actually, I want to install it on a sectional view. This is this. To the side. Okay, here. So here. And let's point it here. So one thing about the V-Ray light, actually, no, sorry, it's better here. All right, so if you look here at the V-Ray light over here, right? Sorry, 1 second. Yes, if you look at the V-Ray light here, so we're gonna go to lights, and we have photometric. Eventually, we'll talk about photometric during the Tadao on the project. Standard, V-Ray, and Arnold. So we're gonna use V-Ray, and we have V-Ray light. And if you look here, we have different ways to use light, as a plane, as a dome, as a sphere. We're gonna pick a plane, right? Because then we can control the size of the light. If I go here and I know this is my cavity, I can draw the light to be the same size as the cavity, like that, right? It's a rectangle light. If I look at it here, where is it? You can see that this is the plane of the light, right? And you get some kind of light ray, so you can tell which way the light is pointing. It's pointing down, right? And you can kind of see how the rays are going here. Once you go to this light property here, we have some plane light. It's 16 feet 8 inches by 12 feet. Doesn't matter because we'll make it as big as we need to. Then we have the multiplier, which is the light intensity. We have the color of the light, and we have so we can choose color or we can choose temperature. So we can use Kelvin, and Kelvin will be, so let's try to use, because it's more real to use Kelvin, so temperature. And temperature works on the light number, right? So very low numbers become more like a red light. If you guys know how, Kelvin, right? Lower the number, the hotter the light. The higher the number, the colder the light. So let's say 10,000 could be a white, bluish light. 2,000 could be a very reddish light. And 3,000 to 4,000 is a very typical light, like in your house, right? So let's say I'm going to put here a light of, let's say, 3,600 Kelvin, which should be like a warm orange tone. You can see here, it's a nice warm color. So let's try that one here. And now I'm going to move this light be right here, right? Because ideally, you could move it down more depending on this. If you want to, the main thing is you don't want to see the light. So make sure that you don't see anything part that's white except for those light rays, like that, right? And right now, the default setting is 30, which might be too little, but first we'll test it out and then we'll see if we need to make it more. And I'm going to copy this light. And for this one, make sure to copy as instance. It'll be a lot easier. So you match both settings. Let's see here. All right. So now we have two lights and let's do a quick render. See how it looks. One second. Let me just get a glass of water. 1 second. Okay, so it's not bad, right? We can see that we have equal amount of light, and we can kind of start to imagine this image here, right? Just that we need a lot more intensity in the light. So now our next step here will be simply there's no right or wrong here. It's just testing out numbers. So I'm gonna pick the light here, and this, right now it's 30. Let's make it what do you guys think? Give me a number for intensity.
200.
200, okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, always go, never do like 30 and then 31. Always go by, massive numbers. So it's at 200. Let's try that. All right, that's definitely better. Starting to remind me of this shot. I mean, the design is a little different because I did make this like a cavity. So actually, I'm gonna fix this because I don't like how this looks. But we're getting there, right? This is definitely a lot more, a lot stronger in light source than this. All right, so let me fix this over here. Yes, but we're getting, I think, close to the effect. The main thing is I want to eliminate those shadows from that place. All right, so let's just, I'm gonna pick this one, isolate it. I'm gonna pick this. Let's do editable mesh. I'm just gonna move this into the wall so you don't see it. This one, I also move it into the wall so you don't see it. This, it means I pulled it a bit too much, but it shouldn't be a big deal because we're not gonna see those elements afterwards. I hope. Yes, let's see. Let me select this one and do isolate. Maybe not. Okay, forget it. Let me fix it again. Control C. All right, so that means that I'm pushing it. I gotta be more precise here. Okay, so better just to use the points, right? I'm gonna select all the points on the right side and just stretch everything equally like this. That's better. Select all the points on the left side. Stretch everything to the left so you don't see it in the wall. And then stretch all the points on the front and pull them forward same time. When I pick points individually, they start to stretch in different ways, and then it gives us problems. So there we go. Let's do an isolate. All right, so now let's make another change here. We need 200. I don't know. Let's try 1,000. See how this looks. Yeah, I want to make it so dramatic that I have to actually tone the light down a bit, but it is dramatic. So all right, so now it's too much, right? So when you see white, what does that mean in the light?
It's making too much light.
Yeah, when it turns white, it means that it's so bright that it can no longer recognize any color, right? So, and if you do photography, it means you have to adjust your white balance, or in this case, it's just things start to look strange because, and again, matching this exactly is going to be impossible because I don't know what this person used for settings, but we can try to get as close as possible. And of course, the next thing I'll do here is I'm not going to do the whole thing again. I'm going to cancel here. I'll do a region like this, little piece over here. Pick the light source again. There it is. Where is it here?
Maybe just have it like around 500
Okay,
and add another light behind the camera, very
yes,
like maybe 50, so it
yes,
balances the place.
that could work. Yes, let's try, like I said, let's try 500 first. I just want to get oops, not this one here. Okay, that's not too bad. The main thing is to get a nice kind of glow here, right? Which is okay, not too bad there. And then, of course, if you look at a little piece over here,
Hey, what's up?
it's completely black, right?
You wanna go-
So do you guys ever see how they do movies, right? Or when they photograph models, when they photograph, elements, what do they use? Any ideas? So they might use fill lights, right? So if you ever look at things like this, right? Right? This is very typical in any photography, right? You're shooting your building, you're shooting a model, you're shooting a car, you're shooting a product, right? You're shooting a house, right? You can never rely on just the sunlight. It's impossible because there's too many things that are too many variables. You have always lights that are in front of the camera, behind the camera, bouncing off the ceiling, bouncing off the floor to fill in those gaps of light. So right now, these lights here provide no light for the front of the for the back of this space. It's still fairly black here. While here, you get a nice orange, even though in the back. So it means that there has to be other light sources there to make up the light, right? So these are called fill lights. All right, so we got pretty good here. So it means I need another light source in the back here to give me a little bit more, light. All right, so that'll be fairly easy. Let's here. I'm gonna use this over here. This is a side view of my space. I'm gonna use the same light, a Vray light, but I'm gonna draw it here. like this, right above the water. And this light, because it's so big, it doesn't have to be really very intense. The main thing now, let's put it in the right place. And again, make sure, like this light here, is this light correct?
Oh,
Why?
Not one.
What's wrong? Yes, it's facing the wrong direction. So make sure that the arrow's pointing there, right? Oops. Let me put this one here.
well, it's behind the wall. It's not gonna
Yes,
shine
that too.
light.
Yes, it's behind the wall and it's facing the wrong direction. Yes, true. So I'm gonna just move this and make sure that it's actually in front of the wall. I would put it, yeah, move the camera a little bit in front of it. Yes, and this light again, I wouldn't keep it at I don't know 500, right? Let's leave it as 30, which is a very low number. But because the volume is so big, you might even need less light. So let's do a quick, let's do a half and compare, left and right here. So right now, the one here is 500, and the one here, the backlight is only 30. But that already gives me a good amount of light here, right? Not too much, but so maybe we should try what? What do you think?
Change the color first.
Yes, and what about the intensity?
Try 100.
Okay, let's try that. Yeah, let's try. All right, so it's this is the light. We'll do 100. We'll match the color. We did before temperature, and I did 3600. There we go. And let's go back here and let's see how that looks. Okay, 100's not bad, yes. Okay, so again, this is more orange. That's less, don't try to match those details. That's more like a Photoshop thing, right? But for now, I think it's looking pretty good, right? All right, so what's the next thing that we have to accomplish here? What are we missing from this scene?
The reflection of the water.
Yes, so this water reflection here, which is called the water caustics, right? I'm still not happy with this water here, but that we'll deal with that later, right? We just build up. So trying to get this water to be realistic, it's gonna be impossible, right? It's just not possible. I mean, so we're gonna fake it pretty much, right? So we're gonna fake it by projecting a light that mimics the effect of water right here. So for that, we have to use a different light type. We can't use actually, let me see, because maybe there's a little update here. Let me see. Let's pick this light over here, for example, right? What options do we have here? We have plain light. All right, let's do a little test over here. I'm gonna pick this light here. I'm gonna, first of all, just change here to light. So I'm picking only those things. I'm gonna pick this light, and you see here where it has map and no map, right? I'm gonna click map here, and let's see if I can do something. If not, we'll try a different light. Go to general, go to bitmap. I'm gonna go to my library. Let's see, where is it? This thing here. And I think I put one here before. No? I thought I had one here of. Yes. Okay, let me try this one here. Water caustics. Well, first of all, you can see that the light now has got that effect on it. But is it going to make a difference in our scene? Let's see. I mean, these are all things that the idea is you guys can see your options, right? And it doesn't do anything, right? So this is kind of useless in that sense, in that light. It just kind of makes the light more of a white color. It has a nice kind of effect here of the shadows, but not what we're looking for. Okay. So I found from experience that what works well is a different light type. But first of all, let me put this back to what it used to be. Let's just remove the map. So don't use it, yes. All right, so we're gonna use, let's go back to lights. We have a photometric. In this case, we're gonna use a standard light. And we're gonna use a target spot. Okay, and we're gonna do a little test. We're gonna do a test here. Okay, let's put the light over here, right? And let's just focus on this light for a second. This is my light, right? A typical spotlight, you have a round kind of spotlight. So I want to change the shape of this to be more like a projector. So I want to make it more like a rectangle shape. So let's go to the light source here. These are the properties here. So the light's on, spotlights, we can change those things. Target, shadows on, should be V-ray shadows always. This we don't care. Box, no. Sphere, atmospheric effects, nothing there. Intensity, no. Sorry, this setting is sometimes it's hard. I mean, you see there's so many options here. So let me just get my light cone. Here we go. Under spotlight parameters, circle, rectangle. So it's gonna change the shape, right? And then you're gonna see afterwards here, a kind of looks like a brown line and a yellow line. And you see I can modify here this. So what do you think that is here? I can make the brown one bigger, and I can make the yellow one bigger. I can also change here the aspect proportion. I can make it more like a white screen, I can do like this. So what do you think this does here? This little gap between here. Any ideas?
One's probably like the field of view.
Okay, so yes, it deals with the focus, right? So everything within the yellow line is pretty sharp, but as it starts to go between here and here, it starts to go out of focus, right? So it kind of gets a nice blur edge because this light can also be used to mimic a movie projector, right? So, and we'll do that afterwards. But for now, and again, we'll play with the settings later. Again, with the aspect ratio, we can change the proportion of this. We can play with the, the hotspot to make it more blurry, more focus. And again, we can change here from a circle light to a rectangle light, and that's under spotlight parameters. The next thing that we need here is we want to project something. Instead of a movie, in this case, I want to project the ripples. So there should be another tab here. Let's see, bitmap, advanced effects. Here we go, advanced effects, projector map. So I'm gonna do map, yes, none, I'm gonna pick one. We go to general, bitmap. I'm gonna project this one here. Now let's take this light. Let's do an isolate. Again, it's starting to get a little crazy with all those lights on top of each other. And let's take this light over here. And I mean, for now, I'm just kind of testing out this. I'm gonna put it over here. And you can kind of see the shape of the light right there. Let's put it over here. And then later we'll adjust any size. Let's go back to the top of the parameters here. So lights on. Okay. Shadows are on. V-ray shadows are set. Here, intensity and color. So this light works like a sun. So the intensity right now is 1, right? So we can go, in this case, going to 30 is probably too much of a, so with all the different lights, just keep in mind that they all have different intensity levels, right? So this one is 1. So before I do anything, let's leave it as 1 and just gonna test it out. So in this case, I'm going to do a quick region on the left side. Actually, yeah, left side, because we did that part over there, here. And see if we can notice anything happening yet. Don't see anything yet, so that means we have to go a little bit stronger. So let's see, 5, let's try 10 intensity. All right, there we go. You see anything? How's that look?
Yeah, they started appearing.
They're starting to appear. So, I mean, as you can see, it's kind of playing with layers, right? You're layering with light, and so it's kind of what makes it look. It's kind of what makes it artistic, right? Is you're painting with light, pretty much. So yeah, so 10 is starting to give us an effect. So let's, now that we know roughly the intensity, let's try 25. Let's see how this looks. 25. Oops, not that one. All right, that doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's kind of starting to look like this, right? Obviously here they probably had a different map than the one that I used, but it is trying to, make the same effect, that we had before here, right? That we had last class. These things here that we had in class that took fairly amount of time to create, we can fake it very easily, right? And something like this, no one's ever gonna find out, So what do you think here? Should we go a little bit stronger with the light, or that's pretty good? Anyone?
Maybe 40.
40? Okay.
And yeah, and I think the way they set it up,
Mhm.
they just put the light under the wall and they just made the light bounce going
Yes.
like up.
Yeah, you can see that it's stronger here, right? So they put it different
Yeah.
ways, yes. So yeah, so afterwards, once you get the light working, you can kind of play with the light to see, where's the best place to locate it. But yeah, good idea. So yeah, let's try 40. Also, you see here, we have the light color right now is white. So if I play, what happens if I play with this? Let's say I make it here blue, right? What's gonna happen to my light? Let me just do a smaller region. Can you see what happened? It's kind of hard to see, but let me see.
It
So
adds a blue hue.
exactly. So pretty much the only thing that projects here is if we go back to the actual, but this is what I'm using, right? So uh, only the white areas are the part where the light projects. Everything else is being blocked out. So in this case, you might want to play around with the color. Doesn't, I mean, in this case, it doesn't do anything dramatic, but it could, in other cases, for example, it doesn't really do much for us here. So I'm gonna put this back to white, and we'll look at it as 40. Yeah, nice. So I kind of like the effect. Let's do one more. Let's do 50. I think I'll be happy with 50 and leave it there. All right, so now we have to get a bit more light in the space. And again, you can try to put this light in a different location if you want to. I'll leave mine here. I'm gonna take this one and copy it here. So there'll be kind of two lights on both sides. What I'm trying to do is to cover the entire space. You could also, to be really dramatic, let's do this again. I'm gonna, oops, no. And I forgot if I did instance. So let me select it. Yeah, instance, okay. I'm gonna copy it one more time over here. Again, it's instance. Now it's getting really crazy. Let's just change to a front view. No. Let's just select this and isolate. Much better. Wait, no, sorry. Select all elements and isolate. Better. Now we can see just our shape. And I'm going to take this one here and let's rotate it like this. And actually, no, let's see here. For this one, actually, it's not good to do. So these two down here could be instance because in the same location. This one, actually, I'm going to copy it again. Let's see, as a copy and erase the old one, right? So now now it's independent. So the reason for that is because I want to match this opening size to this light size. So if I put this light, let's say over here, and now I go to the properties of the light, which was over here, hotspot, right? Make it smaller. We play with the proportion here. I'm trying to make it, oops, plus or minus, fit in there. That looks okay for now. And there's my light kind of pointing down right here above the, and I think, yes, I'm gonna copy it again. And put it on the other side as an instance. All right, so let's render this, see how it looks. Let's do the full rendering. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer video, which I'm trying to make up for other things we missed in class. And because I know that Zoom is going to record pretty well, we'll take a short break soon and I'll pause the video and then we can keep going afterwards. But all right, so we're starting to kind of get the effect. Actually, doesn't look too bad here. It's a different shot, but it's pretty close to the other ones. What do you guys think?
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, like everything, as an artist, right? It takes more practice, right? With this thing, maybe the light should be pointing upward to get more light here, like we have here. But overall, we have here all the elements that we need to create it, right? We could make this light brighter. We could make the light in the back also stronger. We could the water. I'm still not so happy with this water, right? The waves don't appear to look nice enough. But it's not too bad here. All right, so let's regarding the water. We use this one here, right? If you look here to maps, let's see anything we can do here. So it's set as waves here. Waves. See, everything has so many subcategories. So it's hard to really modify this. And I really wouldn't modify the V-Ray materials because it just gets pretty bad. We could try the black water, see how that looks now. Like that, and let's do a region over here. Not really a big difference there. Or maybe I'm gonna try my own water, the one that I made in class last time, because I don't like this water too much. So I think it's still here. Here, this is my water that I made before. So I'm going to select this and use that. Let's try again. All right, so the main thing here I see is definitely where to play on the water scale. So we can go to bump is good, noise here, 10, let's try 5. Okay, so we have to get, again, we're now getting this kind of nice, kind of wavy effect, right? Much closer than effect. So actually our water is better than the V right here. So I think that's a nice detail. It gives us a nice movement, especially you see the edges over here. We're getting similar effect there. This one is still a little bit smaller, so we could, we'll do it as 3. Yeah, 3 is good. And I'm gonna change the bump from 15 to 10. And let's just do that final check. Yeah, much better. What do you guys think? A little closer, right, to that water. All right, guys, it's already 9:54, so let's take like a 10-minute break. I need to get another glass of water. And then I'll pause the video now and we'll keep going afterwards. So take like a 10-minute break, guys. Thank you. All right, guys, you back? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, and you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let's just do a little more, yeah, and then I think we'll stop soon because my throat's starting to hurt, and I still have to teach 2 more classes today. So I think we've covered today quite a bit, in the video, things looking good. Just want to cover a few more things here in the class here. So again, this platform here, let's make it more more interesting. And this is going back to the things that are offered with 3D Max here and Vray. So if we go back to this 4 little boxes that we've been checking out for the materials, like I said before, this is also a very nice collection of other things, right? So we have 3D models here, for example, right? Furniture, accessories, lighting, vegetation, vehicles, people. So let's say, that I want to, drop a vehicle in this platform, for example, just to make something interesting. We have aircraft, cars, motorcycles, trucks, different things that we can try here. And this vehicles actually are pretty realistic, and they're based, on real cars, not like, fake ones. So we can tell exactly what they are, So I'm just going to drop a car here and just see something that, for our scene here. Let's see what we have here that we like. Get a gold Mercedes. What's a nice color to contrast everything that we have here? Well, let's try this blue one here. So again, I'm going to download this blue one here. This will take a little longer because it's a highly detailed car. Again, any model here that comes with V-Ray, because V-Ray, besides making the V-Ray plugin, they also are the biggest seller of assets to architects. So they produce libraries of cars, furniture, trees. So, and everything they do is meant to be photorealistic, right? So everything here is better than anything you're gonna find anywhere else. So having this license from the school is, it's a great thing to have because this library, is extremely expensive. All right, so I'm gonna again press this little arrow here once it downloads. Give it a second, and now it should be somewhere in your scene. There it is. There's the car, right? So we made this platform 20 feet, which is roughly, yeah, what a car should fit like. So about there. And that looks like a Porsche. You could sit right there, kind of. It's more like a showroom, right? And let's also drop here 3D models, maybe like a person. So people, sitting, standing. This guy looks like observant, so let's take this guy here. Again, click again the green, and then it should be in the same place there. So this is probably the our 0, 0 axis where you're gonna find this. So let's put this guy over here. In the car like that. Again, you can find, if you want, you can put a motorcycle. Just, again, in this case, have some fun and kind of put in whatever you want. Just make the scene look interesting. I mean, it's behind the car. There. And then once you have the, then take your, and for this one, I think for the next rendering submission, I think for this one, just if you give me 3 renderings, it's enough, right? Because we're capturing only this interior space. So you might put a camera here, maybe one from the other side, and find another shot that you guys want to use. And I think that'll be the main thing here. Let's see how this looks. And a lot of things here, you guys can take more time, like the lighting, right? We can spend definitely hours and hours to make the light better. Right now, I just went through the basic settings of the light. And one more thing I want to cover before we finish the class. And remember that we discussed that the light that we use for the water ripples, we can also use for a movie projector. So I'm going to put here on this side something projecting for the car, right? So, and maybe we need a bit more light from the back. So, you can always put more lighting in the scene to enhance the quality. It's still a little dark from this side here. So maybe I'll make it brighter. All right, so let's do kind of final edits here for the car. First thing I'll do is the light source from here, right? This one here, that is 100. Let's make it 150. A little brighter. And okay, let's do the thing about the projector. So let's take this light over here, right? I'm gonna copy it. Make sure it's a copy, right? Separate than the other one. I'm going to rotate it. And I'm gonna go here. And I'm gonna make it definitely smaller because I want to see. Imagine a little screen, right? All right, so maybe here, let me just, so in this shot, maybe it doesn't work, but let me set up my camera here. I'm gonna copy a new camera. This camera, I'm gonna copy a new one to the side. Like this. So we're looking more at this part over here because now I want to be able to make another scene where I'm kind of emphasizing and you can see, right? Here's my projector, right? A nice screen. Now that I can see it in my shot, I can now modify it to a better proportion. With the aspect ratio, like that, right? And of course, now we have we're not projecting anymore those ripples. So we gotta find something else to project, right? So let's project what could be cool that we have here. Well, let's do this one here, right? You guys can find whatever you want, maybe like a nice movie scene. Maybe do like actually, let me see if I can do something here to follow the theme here. 1 second. Find something. All right, so I put here this one here, like a nice Porsche. This is more like a square format. We can fix that. Let's make the aspect ratio 1, right? To be like more like a square format screen, like that. And I can remember that this line means that everything within the yellow line is sharp, and everything here is like the projector starting to lose quality, so it gets a little bit more blurry towards the edges. We have here the poster, and let's see how this looks. And then we'll adjust the intensity of the oops. There we go. That's pretty cool. And you see here how the edge is very blurry, right? That's because we have that zone, right? That makes if you want the edges very sharp, then just move those two lines very close together, right? And if you want them to make more like abstraction, make it more blurry. And this one maybe we can make it a little bit brighter, but again, you guys can play with that. But hopefully you can see now, all the different things that we can do with lighting, in 3D Max and V-Ray. What do you guys think with these topics? Any questions? Did you find it useful, the topics we covered today in class? Are you guys there?
Yeah, it was cool.
I'm sorry?
I like it. I like the projector. I think that was really interesting to me, and also like the water, like
Okay.
the reflection of the water.
I mean, again, as architects, we're also kind of let's say artists, right? So we gotta bring our own little touch to our rendering. So this gives you a good amount of skills to fine tune those elements. So, for the next class, make 3 of these renderings. Again, if you want, you can put it in the middle here. You can put a sitting area. Do whatever you want, make it personal, right? Try to capture this essence, try to play with the lighting, the ripples, and do the best to make it kind of a very nice personal rendering, something that is kind of more personal. So I think that'll be a cool shots to and again, once you add it to the portfolio, eventually it's kind of unique, right? Because something that maybe someone hasn't seen before, and they can tell that it's not a typical rendering, something that required more work, more time to create. So, and it gives you a much higher skill level to showcase to let's say possible employer or anyone that you're showing this to. So I think that's good for today's class. I'll download the video and I'll post it to YouTube like all the other videos. Any questions, or we can finish here today? Okay, I'll take it silence means everyone's okay. Guys, so I hope to be back next Friday, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna keep open this Zoom link. We'll see how it tests, next week, because the school has a 10-day policy from the moment you test positive, where you cannot be in school, and then so we might be in Zoom again next week. But just keep an eye on these things. In the meantime, take a look at the video and try to get everything done by next week. and I'll see my next class in a little bit. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Feel better.
Feel
Thank you,
better.
guys.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor. Get better.
Thank you. All right.
Excuse me, Professor, do you took attendance?
I did, yes.
Oh, okay.
Who's this?
Miriam.
Miriam. Okay, I'll mark it down,
Yeah.
yes.
All right,
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
and I
Give me a
also
second.
me too. I came late. Autumn.
Autumn. Okay, so Autumn saying. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
mark it down. And who was the other person? Miriam?
Yes,
Okay,
that'll be Miriam.
Anyone
Yeah.
else?
Me too. I came in like 10
Cindy,
minutes.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put you down, Cindy. Okay, anyone else?
Okay. Thank you. Feel better.
All right, thank you
Thank
guys. Take care, guys. Thank you.
I see you next
You
class.
feel better.
See you next class.
All right.